Hey guys, Brian Schoaf here for Bombastic Reviews, and today we're taking a look at the Splinter vs. Baxter Stockman 2-pack set by NECA Toys. Now I gotta say, it's really cool to see the line grow the way that it has, because we've gotten to a point where we not only have those essential characters from that first wave, like the Turtles and Shredder and Krang, now we got Splinter, but you're starting to see other characters that have never seen the light of day before, like Roadkill Rodney, Granitor, and Baxter in his cartoon accurate deco. So you've got enough figures now where you could totally have one of those rockin' 80s toy commercials. You know what? Let's. Oh no, bros! Baxter, Stockman, and Z are opening a portal to Dimension X! Well, you better not, because Splinter's got a gun. What? Help me! Way to go, Master. Bye-bye, Fly. Ha 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 ha! I made a funny! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles! From NECA. Okay, so here we have the box. It's pretty much the same as the other Turtle 2-packs, but you got some nice art here with the cartoon Splinter and Baxter. It's a nice window box. I kind of like the boxes like these with the 2-packs. They don't have that flap that NECA has with most of their Ultimate figures. You got some product shots, but it's, you know, it's pretty much all the standard stuff. This is the same blurb that they have on the back of every single Turtle 2-pack, so nothing to write home about there. You get to see the other figures that are in that line. So, business as usual, but let's check these guys out. All right, taking a closer look at these guys, I really love how cartoon accurate Baxter is, because the original figure, he was cool, but like he was ripping out of his lab coat like the Incredible Hulk. He never looked like the show, and I always just wanted him to look like the show. Splinter is really cool as well. You've got these graphics on his robe here. That's show accurate. Like the original figure, this is a cloth robe, and that's probably the best way to do that. But they went the extra mile, and this Splinter actually has sleeves. Now, who are we going to talk about first? Baxter, all right. I really love these cel-shaded decos that they've been doing. Like I said, as a kid, I always wanted these to look like the cartoon. That was one, like the original toy line was amazing. Played with those to death. But some of them just, you know, to varying degrees never looked like the cartoon. And that's one thing NECA is absolutely nailing with this line. I know a lot of people are really into the Super 7 ones. I think they got nostalgia written all over them. That's great. I'm not trashing those, but for me, this is where it's at. So the articulation on the figure is pretty impressive. He's got most of what NECA's doing in their Ultimate figures. His wrists are on pegs, so those move. You got double jointed elbows. His arms seem to be on these ball sockets. His head has just a great range of motion to it. Got a swivel at the waist here. The knees are double jointed even. The feet are on a peg, but they've got a lot of swivel to them, like a side-to-side motion. Not a lot, but just a little bit. So on the back here, I don't know what the scientific name for these extra arms are, but those are on a pin. They can move completely around. They're not bendy. That's the only point of articulation you got right there, but you can move them in, you can move them out, and they swivel around. And it's the same thing with the wings. They can swivel almost completely around. And then that pin is hinged so you can move them in, up, down, whatever you want to do. So really cool, really great job with him. It's awesome after all these years to finally have a Baxter that just, like I said, just looks like the cartoon. All right, for Splinter here, you know, I've heard some horror stories that his ankles are really brittle. I didn't have that problem. They were a little bit stiff, but out of an overabundance of caution, if you think it's going to give you problems, definitely dip them in some hot water and free up those joints. Do not force it. People were recommending stuff on Twitter like, oh, if his ankles break, just buy another one. You know how hard it was to find this one? Ridiculous. Anyway, the figure itself, like Baxter, he's got pretty much the same articulation as a lot of their Ultimate figures. I'm not going to pull off his robe here to look, but it does seem like his arms are on a ball joint, and it does feel like these are double jointed here. This is a really sweet detail like we got with Bebop and Rocksteady. Splinter's jaw opens, so you can have him, you know, it just lends a little bit of extra expression to what would otherwise be a static figure. And I think that's really cool. If they're not going to include a stand-in head, if they can do stuff like that for characters where it makes sense, I am all for that. His wrists, we can check that out. Now, these are on pegs so that you can swap them in and out with the other hands. You can move them back, move them forth. These things I have had break on me, not on this figure, but on other figures. So those pegs, I always recommend dipping those in hot water, especially when the wrists are really small and really brittle like that. It also helps to heat it up when you go to pop the spare hands on. My neck seems a little bit stiff. I can see that it's jointed right here, but like every time I move him, he wants to come back to center. So I'm not sure if that's standard or like what's going on there. He probably just needs to be broken in a little bit. But yeah, see, like he's sassy. He's like, no, I'm not turning that head. Like, does move up and down a little bit, and then he's got a second joint. You can see that right there. You got under the robe. So maybe that's what I should be moving around. That's probably what I should be moving around. That might be where the joint's actually at. It's hard to say. The tail is bendy, which you are probably going to need because with his big goofy feet, he might not want to stand upright. So under the robe, you can see that the knees are double jointed. So you got a little bit of a, not only motion that way, but that second joint allows that to swivel, so that's really nice. And then the ankles are on pegs, and it seems like you got a decent amount of motion there. Not too much, but you know, he's not going to be breakdancing in any of your stop motion animation videos. But he does have this break right here at the toes, and I think that's really cool because he can do like some, back set karate poses and stuff like that. So overall, just really incredible job, and like Baxter, it is awesome to finally have a Splinter that looks just like he came right out of the cartoon show. For the sake of comparison, here is Master Splinter next to Master Splinter from the movie line, and both of them are great figures in their own ways. I gotta say though, I'm more impressed with the cartoon Splinter because movie Splinter looks great, but he doesn't really do a lot. Like he's pretty much limited in his range of motion. So is cartoon Splinter, but this figure just seems a little more sturdy, a little more stable, a little better realized. You can do more with them because, like I say, the jaw opens. Both of them do have bendy tails, so that's really cool. But Splinter's a character you're probably going to have on the sidelines, so it's really not a big deal. They're both great figures, but if I had to pick a favorite, I'd say I'd go with the cartoon one because I think they really knocked it out of the park. We got to talk about these accessories. There is so much here. A lot of this stuff, they could have just held it back and included it in some kind of accessory pack. I know there's a lot of really episode-specific deep cut stuff here, and only some of them I'm familiar with because I only have about Season 1 and most of Season 2 on DVD. So I'll just point out the stuff that I do know. But let's take a closer look at some of the detail on this stuff here because it's really rich. So Splinter's got a bunch of extra sets of hands. That's pretty standard, but I gotta say I love that they do this because not only can he hold the weapons, but you've got like this one here, so you can use that for like a wah, kind of like a Bruce Lee karate stance sort of thing. He's got his sword, and it's got this clip-on flame effect, which that's so cool. Awesome. So that goes along with his cane, so if you want your Splinter to be a little more fierce, you can have him using the sword instead of that. His books, you got a couple different scrolls. There's some nice detail on these. You got the book that he named the turtles out of. That's really cool. Got a scroll with some Japanese writing on it. I assume that's Japanese. It could be gibberish. I don't speak the language. Yes, yin yang, pimp medallion, whatever that is. A gun. He's got a gun. When did this happen? I don't know. Drop me a comment below. I'd love to know what episode that's from. But last but not least, we've got this little mouse, which I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Splinter as a rat. I'm sorry, I said he was a mouse. He's a rat. Because it kind of looks like he's doing karate. He's happy about it. So, you know, I think he's looking at his master there, Hamato Yoshi. But I thought this was really cool. The whiskers are these kind of soft bristles, and that's just a really cool attention to detail. That didn't have to be there, but those whiskers really complete the effect. All right, accessories part 2. These are all the Baxter-centric accessories. So you got his spare set of hands, his retro mutagen gun, and you got the dial on there for what kind of mutant he's going to make. Gerbil Mikey. Gerbil Mikey? That's such a deep cut. That's awesome. Shredder Fly. Love how you got the cape over the wings there. Help me! His potted plant. Wow. I should know that one. I thought they did a really good job on Z here, the sentient computer from Bye Bye Fly. That one I do recognize. I can call that one out. There's a lot of nice sculpture on here. I'm really impressed. Not only did they do kind of a lenticular effect, so he's got a couple different expressions depending on the way you're looking at him, but you can feel this isn't just a paint job. They could have just done that with a water slide decal, but they kind of went the extra mile, so that's really cool. It's just a really nice realized diorama piece, so hats off to them. And last, but certainly not least, Splinter has this foam. It's not really a soft goods mat, but it's a foam mat, so you can use that in your sewer layer dioramas. That's cool. I gotta give this accessory set 5 stars. This has to be the most loaded set of accessories on any of the 2 packs that I've seen, bar none. About 20% of this, they probably could have just held it back for some kind of deep cut accessory set later on down the line. So the fact that they packed all of this in here really makes this set feel like it has a lot of added value. I'm a little behind the curve on this review. I gotta say, this is the first Toon Turtle I didn't find in the store. All my other ones, I was out there finding them in person, showing up every day. I don't know if he ever showed up in my store or not, but this set was the first one that I got off of Target.com, and holy crap, I've complained about that in every Turtle video that I've done, and it finally came through for me. And you know what? He was in stock for more than 2 seconds too, so maybe the online's getting a little bit better. We can only hope, right? Because that's what everyone wants. They want to be able to get their turtles. So I really hope that continues going forward, because it was just, I couldn't believe it was still in stock by the time I checked out. I really couldn't. So I got to call that out, because that's just good progress on the whole online situation, which from the jump has been kind of a nightmare. So if I missed anything with the cartoon-specific accessories, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to know what episodes some of these are from so I can check those out. If you got a minute, check out some of my other TMNT videos, or just drop a comment below. I love talking about this stuff. While you're at it, do me a favor, drop a like, hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out a lot. I'd appreciate that. I got more videos in the pipeline. This is a line I intend to keep going with, because Turtles was a big thing in my childhood. And if you're watching this video, they probably mean a lot to you too. So stick around, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.